Hey, everybody. I've got to address something that a few of you brought up yesterday and on into this morning, which is this. I've been asked, Seth, how come you aren't freaking out more about the fact that the Texans traded Malik Collins away for a seventh round pick? And I got to be honest with you, I don't know. I think part of it is the glow of the rest of this free agency period so far for the Texans has me reluctant to just go ahead and skewer Nick Caserio for what looks to be a huge malfunction in the way they operated this weekend. But the basic story right now goes that the Texans had a deal in place to trade for Eric Armstead. They were going to trade straight up Malik Collins for Eric Armstead. And then all of a sudden, Daniil Hunter became available, and the Texans weren't going to be able to swing that deal with the 49ers while also getting Daniil Hunter because they gave a boatload of guaranteed money to Daniil Hunter. So that part is all well and good. If the deal fell apart between Malik Collins being traded for Eric Armstead, why exactly did the Texans still trade Malik Collins, a very viable defensive tackle, for nothing at all? I don't know. I kept waiting and hoping that it was going to be somehow, there was a wink, wink, nod, nod deal of like Eric Armstead already a deal in place or anything. But he's out there. He's on the market. And maybe we'll get some answers from Nick Caserio in either his press conference. He's going to be on with Payne and Pendergast at 7:30 Monday morning. So we're definitely going to ask him about that. Nick's pretty savvy about not saying what he doesn't want to say. So we'll see. I mean, like that. I think the glow from the rest of this free agency has been so much that we're not like I'm not out for blood on it or anything. But as of right now, you've lost both Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins. And both those guys, I think, were underrated, at least in the estimation of a lot of Texans fans. They weren't the perfect defensive tackles, but they did both get penetration into the backfield. I think they're better against the run than maybe they're thought to be. Doesn't mean they're like incredible run stuffers or anything, obviously. So there can be upgrades. Eric Armstead would have been one of them, but the other question that I've been asked is whether Denico Autry can play defensive tackle. And it's complicated because yes, he can, but you don't want him to be your every down, like in pen on the depth chart defensive tackle. And I'm going to play some of his clips from the Saints game last year. And I'm going to play some of the clips of Fatukasi, the other defensive Fatukasi. Damn it. I'm going to get it. Fatukasi, the other defensive tackle, to kind of show how he's not a three down linebacker himself either. I think between the two of them, they can account for one defensive tackle spot. But I'm not comfortable just going into this season without more of an added presence on the inside. And maybe that comes through the draft. Maybe it comes somewhere else. Let me check these a couple of these out real quick. Apparently, we were supposed to re-sign Rankins too, but that fell through. He's up in Cincinnati, obviously. The Peter Schrager clip this morning. Yes, I was just about to tweet you and say I'm wrong for not going. I'm sorry. I'm here, Pop. I'm going to be on. Okay, Fatukasi. It sounds more Italian than Polynesian at this point. Fatukasi. How many picks do you think we need to give up to get Marvin Harrison Jr.? I don't care. That's not my concern. That's not if they trade up at all, damn it, it's going to be for Byron Murphy. Or maybe Johnny Newton or something. Okay. Do you think it can be filled in the draft at the 23rd pick? Yeah. I don't think Byron Murphy's going to be available at that point. Johnny Newton or a couple other guys might be. I don't think you can bank on that though. Like I like to go into the draft feeling like it's not 100% absolute necessity that we take a certain position in the first round because you just can't bank on that guy being there. But it's certainly possible. Cornerback is a spot right now too. But some of you are going to be watching this after they've already filled these spots, and you can accuse me of hand-wringing for nothing at all. But if we look at Fatukasi and Denico Autry, because Denico Autry is like he's played defensive tackle, he's played defensive end. Mostly though, he's a 3-4 defensive end, which means that sometimes he goes down inside, but in a 4-3, you don't necessarily want him doing it all that time. So I grabbed like 10 plays from the Saints game early this season, just so you guys can get a feel for exactly what Denico Autry is like as a player, and I like him a lot. I just part of this is going to be to show that okay, he's probably not going to be an every down three technique, but they can use him with a lot of versatility. So here he's lined up as a three technique, a very very loose three technique, and they run a TE game. But you can see kind of the power that he has. He works his way through double teams. Nice slant footwork here, but like really strong to not get washed. This might not look like that big a deal, but keeping his feet there. This one playing right defensive end. This is versus Trevor Penning, the left tackle. And any chance I have to show somebody destroying Trevor Penning, one of my least favorite offensive linemen of this century, I like to show it. I can't remember if he destroyed him on. Oh, this is pretty nice. He got his hands up in his chest and like very good against the run from a defensive end position. Here he's in a wide 9. Oh, that's that same play. It skipped the frame on the end zone copy. That's why I didn't show. That's why I had to show the sideline. Again, aligned wide as a defensive end. Does a hezzy and then slants to the inside for TFL. So he's a guy like he's kind of deceptively fast. He moves with big strides, but he does it with a lot of power. So it never looks like he's electrically athletic or anything, but he just makes a lot of plays. So again, just bull rushing Trevor Penning. Didn't get him down. Here he's in a loose 3 alignment. You know, this isn't a pass situation. It's a spread formation. So it's not like he's down there to stuff the run. And the Titans notably would take him out when it came to run stuffing situations, or at least they didn't have him playing on the interior. They would have him playing on the edge. And you can see he's 285. Like he's a bull in a china shop there up the middle. So on passing situations, that keeps his hands moving there. On passing situations, by all means, he can move inside. But I think it's going to be Fatukasi. Look at that. Like his hands are. Let me run that back again. So you see, he takes huge strides, which is a good thing. Not so huge there. Nice little head slap, too. Because Trevor Penning's a dirty player, so I don't mind the head slap on Trevor Penning. Big slant to the inside, uses his hands to clean up. Like he's just technically really sound. He's gonna be really good for the Texans. He's gonna be really good when he plays defensive end, like in a rotation with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. But he's also gonna be good when they bring him down on the inside. And I'll show you with Fatukasi here. I drive about 10 plays from the Texans game here. And if I cut off some of now that we're watching the Texans, don't get upset if I cut off some of the endings of these plays because I don't want the live stream to get shut down because of copyright issue or because I get copyright flagged. So here he is. Like he can play nose tackle. Like he's that kind of dude, but he's got a certain pop and explosiveness to him that I think there's potential here. See on this play, he has to come across face with slide protection, recognizes pass, flushes CJ up. CJ makes a nice play. Nothing spectacular about that, but I wanted to be sure I got that in before I showed this play because at least that was an okay play. Versus the run, I just want to show you like he's not DJ Reader versus the run, and he was a starter with the Jaguars. Was not a full-time starter with the Jets, but for these last couple of years he was with the Jaguars. But you see, he's kind of sometimes when he gets hit from the side, he'll lose his feet, so he's not 100% stable all the time. But you're going to see some really nice plays as well. From a zero technique here. Here he gets washed out of this play. But a good bull rush, keeps his hands active. You know, does a good job of compressing the pocket. Let's see if it should have been. Oh, they laid off of him. Okay. I got defensive on behalf of CJ for a second. One technique. Clogged things up there. I'm not going to crush him for that. This is harder than it looks because he's trying to maintain his gap while also playing zone. And for big guys to keep your feet and not get caught up in the wash there, like that's good athleticism, playing his responsibilities like that. He can do a lot of stuff like this. This you can see he's got a little bit more pop and get off than you expect. But I don't know if it's not quite enough to do this. Like he shouldn't be shooting gaps. I don't think he needs to play with a little bit more discipline than that. But I think that what they saw from him, what Robert Saleh saw from him when he's with the Jets, and Matt Burke was up with the Jets when Fatukasi was up there as well, I believe. I think there is a little bit of untapped potential that the Jaguars may have had him playing a little bit more conservative than he will with the Texans. But like, just he's a grinder, you know. He makes some nice plays versus the run. He gets pushed in the pocket, but he's not the guy. See, I like loses his feet sometimes on double teams like that. He's just not the guy that you're going to want out there on third down. Beautiful run here by that is Singletary, right? Yeah. Another thing too is I think sometimes in his this is goal line. I won't mess with his stance here. Really nice play coming up here. Like that. Okay, that was Juice Scruggs. A notable difference when Juice Scruggs came into this game after Titus Howard. As much as we get frustrated with Titus Howard playing guard sometimes, Juice Scruggs struggled mightily at guard. He's I think he's meant to be a center. This one right here, if I recall, isn't a great one for Juice. Yeah. So like Fatukasi, he can start, but he's not one of the solutions, I think. Eric Armstead would be the guy that I most want. There's the guy they were going to trade for. If you think about Eric Armstead and just the physical presence that he has to be accounted for in a way that Fatukasi or Khalil Davis or some of those guys don't have to be. And he can play all three downs. And like if they can find a way to have him, then great. If it's at this point, I'm not going to be super, super greedy about getting the perfect defensive tackle in, but I'd like somebody like a DJ Reader who's got a certain presence about him. Because I think Denico Autry is going to be great for how they use him down inside, but they right now just don't have guys that can rush the passer the way Sheldon Rankins did as an every down defensive lineman, or that Malik Collins did as an every down defensive lineman. And I'm hoping there's some kind of explanation on this trade that makes more sense. Maybe the 49ers have promised that there's going to be a lopsided trade in the Texans' favor at some point after they get all the salary cap stuff cleared up or within the draft. I don't know. It's just it's a confusing situation. We're in day 4 of free agency. I'm not going to freak out about it to an extreme degree. There's plenty of time for me to freak out the rest of the year. What's the typical adjustment time for a DT getting drafted? It depends. Usually there's way more technique and recognition to it, like there's play recognition to it than people realize. And if it's somebody that you want to be an every down player, it takes a lot of guys a good year or two before they're really comfortable at it. I think DJ Reader had really good instincts immediately. But let's say Johnny Newton, for instance, that kid's he's got really good football smarts, and he almost plays like a linebacker, like a 300-pound linebacker. But he has a real good feel for what plays are coming and diagnosing. So I think he'd be all right. Hunter says he was the Browns playoff game. That excited about the team. Oh, Danielle Hunter. Oh, that's a. I'm good with the ones that were re-signed in the free agents so far. Yeah, I hear you at first clause, and I'm being greedy partly too because I kind of in my mind had Malik Collins lined up to Denico Autry on pass downs, and then Malik next to Khalil Davis or somebody else on rundowns, and like it was more menacing from every spot. Like right now, it's not quite menacing on every single down. I need 24/7 menace. Okay, I want to be a menace to the football society. Yeah, the NASCAR package. The thing about the NASCAR package is that it's a package, and that like if you come up against a team where they can run the hell out of the ball, and you've got 4 defensive ends out there, like you're going to get your ass destroyed. You're just going to get it destroyed. Not like in a way that you pay for in seedy parts of town or anything. You're going to get destroyed. So yes, they'll have a great NASCAR package. They've got really good defensive ends that can rush the passer, but it's not possible or feasible. This is the old saying: you want as few guys on the defensive line that can be removed by a personnel package. Like, okay, if you just go out against a team and they decide, okay, we're going to be in 3 wide all day long. All right, well, how good are your defensive tackles that you can't have out there on the field because they're worthless rushing the passer? Likewise, if you can rush the hell out of the passer, but all a team has to do is come in with regular 21 personnel, that doesn't do much for you either, or 22 personnel. So like they need to round it out a little bit, and it might be through the draft. It might be something else. I don't know about him playing DT. Talking about Denico Autry, yeah, and it's not a bad thing or anything at all. He's 285, so like he's like Charles Omenihu. The way they use Charles Omenihu in San Francisco, I think that's what it's going to be with Denico Autry. There's going to be times where he's defensive end. There's going to be other times in passing situations or against some teams where he'll play against the run, but it'll all be good. It'll all be good. I just don't. I'm just upset about this Malik Collins trade. The pain on Denico's face when the defense struggled to close out games last year was palpable. Got the ceiling for players he was working with on defense. Yeah, and now he's going to get elite guys to hunt. Oh, Danielle Hunter's going to go number 55. I don't know if that's if you're joking, Johnny, or if that's true, but I like that. All right, cool. This is a quick one. I just wanted to get this in. I'm going to be on with Zach Gelb here in like 20 minutes on CBS Sports Radio. Thanks, everybody. I'm Seth Payne, played for the Texans long time ago. I was a defensive tackle for 10 years in the league. If you like football content, especially Texans content, follow me, subscribe, share, tell a friend, all of that. Thanks, everybody.